This is an 05 Mini Cooper S convertible. It's got almost 70k miles on it right now. And this is just a driving impressions video, you know, just pretty quick. Alright, so I've owned this car for like a bit over a year now. And one thing I gotta say about it is it's not a numbers car. So there's nothing really special about this car on paper. That's the thing. So like it's not, you know, it's got this one, since it has like a modified supercharger. It's about 200 crank horsepower. It's a tiny 1.6 engine. It's got a 6-speed. There's nothing really special about this car on paper. I mean, it's just it's like a normal. It's got the same it's got the same specs as, like, you know, it's like a hot hatch. There's nothing really special on paper about this car, and I kind of like that. So this is not a car that you can, you know, impress people with. Like, you're not gonna be like, oh, my car has like, yeah, dude, my car's got like 500 horsepower. I can kick your ass. I can totally destroy you. Like, no, you can't do that with this car. This car, however, is very good at one thing, and it's good at putting a smile on your face. So, to me personally, I don't really care as much about the numbers. I mean, it gets shitty gas mileage. It's not fast, but it's fun. Like, it puts a smile on my face, and I think, to me, that's one of the most important things in a car. It has its flaws, you know, and I'm gonna talk about that in this. But okay, so engine, 1.6, single overhead cam. It's supercharged, and like I said, around 200 crank horsepower. So not a lot. So this car below, you know, 2,000, $2,500. It's basically dead. So, you know, if I'll try and I'll do that at like a stoplight. I'll just pin it from, you know, like 1,500 RPM, and you're gonna see there's no torque down, there's no torque down there. So it'll feel like almost, especially when I have the AC on. When this light turns green, I will show you guys. Especially when I have the AC running, there's not much torque at all. It feels literally like I'm driving a 95 Civic until about, all right, no torque, and there's the power. So there's just under $2,000, there's no pull. After that, that's when you really get going. And then when the AC on, by the way, the AC in this, it does draw a lot of power. That's one thing I've noticed compared to other cars. I'm not sure if there's something wrong with this car mechanically, like if that's the reason why. Because I mean, again, it's an old car, but it does tend to draw a lot of power. And I noticed that's a problem on hills when you're trying to start off and you don't want to stall, you know, because there's people behind you. You do have to give it a little bit more gas on hot days, or else you're just gonna stall it out. And it does. And when you're passing, of course, when you really need to go, you want to turn that AC off. All right, so the one really nice part about this engine, it's the sound, and this is a really nice sounding 4-cylinder. It sounds great. All right, as soon as you cross, like, you know, $4,000 or $5,000, you can really hear that supercharger, and, you know, that's the whine. It sounds really good. I mean, it sounds unique compared to like almost any other modern 4-cylinder, just because of that supercharger. Power delivery is unique, again, for such a small engine, and I mean, like I said, not slow. When you do want to go, you can just pop into third gear on the freeway and like just punch it, and you know, it'll go. The passing power's there. It's not, you know, you're not gonna ever really You're not gonna ever really need more passing power. I mean, you might want more, but you know, it's there. And I think the gearing on this car, so I have mixed feelings about it. So it is geared pretty short. You know, like I mean, it's like, I'd say it's probably slightly, it's slightly shorter than modern hot hatches. I mean, if you look at it right now, I'm going almost 80 miles an hour. I'm doing almost 3,500 RPM, and it's kind of buzzy. You know, it's not like a, you know, like a BMW like inline six where it's like nice and smooth. It's just, it's kind of drony. I don't know if the GoPro camera is really picking up on it, but you can definitely like hear it buzzing in the background. So, you know, I personally don't mind it, but you gotta take that into consideration. I mean, I've driven this car on pretty long road trips, and it doesn't really bother me as much. It's not fatiguing to me, but it's pretty noticeable. The nice part is you get decent passing power in sixth gear, and you know, that's really nice because you don't have to like shift into. I mean, obviously, if you want more passing power, you gotta downshift, right? Because that's just how it works. But you can, you know, you can get some. It'll move. I mean, I'm barely tapping the gas, and that's right at the beginning of the power band, and that's kind of nice because as soon as you get into it a little bit, it hits the power band and it starts to pull you, forward. This is my private racetrack, just in Mexico. I've closed all the roads off, you know. This is just, I'm the only one allowed here, and this is definitely not a public road. I promise you that. So this is a really nice handling car. That's my favorite part about this car. It handles so nice. I drove a Modern 2 Series 2019, and it handles good, and it's definitely impressive. This handles, I mean, I have more fun in this than I do in that. This handles so nice. So that's probably, that's like a 2 Series is like, oh sorry, let me be more specific. It was an M240. It's not a full-blown M2, but it's not like a, you know, a base 230i either. It's a longer car than this, and it's a good handling car. But the thing is, it's pretty long still compared to this. This has a really short wheelbase, and like what that makes it good at is kind of like going around corners and twisty areas. So like, you know, I have really sharp steering, and I can kind of just chuck it around like a go-kart, and it's really friendly too. So like, this is kind of like, it's kind of like a friendly dog, you know. It's really friendly. It's really easy to drive this car. It's not like, oh, you screwed up, I'm going to totally fuck you over and just kill you. No. This is a friendly car. It's like, oh, you want to play? Yeah, come on, give me more gas. Let's play. Let's push around that corner a little bit faster. Let's do that. And a lot of, you know, the 2 Series I drove, not like that. Compared to that, this is a very friendly car. You know, it wants you to, it's like, it doesn't feel like it wants to kill you. It's a really safe car to drive at the limits. You push it a little bit too hard in the corners, and you're gonna get a bit of understeer. It's gonna like push a little, and you know, that's okay. It's not a lot. It's there, it's noticeable, it's not a lot. And you know, this car feels really neutral for a front-wheel drive car. But okay, the understeer part, that's not to say it will not. So the fun part about this especially, so like you know, if you have the tire pressure set right, you can get liftoff oversteer pretty easily in this car. So for those of you who don't know what that is, if you're going, you can basically get this, if you're going around a corner pretty hard, and you're kind of at like the limit of adhesive, of grip, like your tire, you're pretty close, and you suddenly like let off the gas in this car, the weight's gonna shift, and the rear end is just gonna, it's gonna kick out a bit. And then what you do is you counter steer and you correct it so you don't die, because that's not good. You want to have fun, you don't want to die. And this car does that pretty easily. Like if you want it, you can get it. You're not gonna, it's not hard to coax it out of this car. It's pretty easy to do, and that's one of the things I love about it. It's just, it handles so nicely for a front wheel drive car. And oh, the steering. Okay, let's talk about the steering. The steering is, for a power, okay, it's not gonna be on par with the feel of a non-power steering car, but it's really good for a power steering car. And this is a hydraulic system, so like it's not. Do you guys see that? I have the AC on, and I kind of almost just, I need to give more gas there. It's not, it's heavy compared to most modern cars. So it's not, this is not electric power steering where it's just like, oh, you know, it feels like it doesn't feel like a video game. You know, there is some weight to this, and it feels really natural. You can feel everything through the wheel. Like, you know, even these things I'm driving over, you can feel it through this wheel. It's not vague. It has a good amount of feel, and it feels natural and realistic, and I really appreciate that. Because especially the new BMWs, performance car, right, it's supposed to be, the steering just feels so numb, and this feels so nice compared to that. It just feels, it feels much more like a car with no power steering than something with power steering. And you know, it's not heavy. Don't go thinking that. I think it's still a little bit too light for my taste, but then I just prefer heavier steering. That's the thing about these cars. So a lot of modern cars, I have problems with them because they just it feels like I'm driving a machine. You know, I want a car that's fun to drive. I want something that puts a smile on my face. I don't want to feel like I'm driving an appliance, you know. And I of course I respect, like, you know, people want that in a car, of course. Like, you know, they want something comfy, smooth, something that, but you know, I don't want 90 miles an hour to feel like 40. I don't want it to feel like I'm in a video game, because then why the hell don't I just, you know, buy a video game instead of like driving a car? I'm driving a car for a reason, you know. And this just feels so, like I said, it just feels like a small puppy, you know. It just wants to play, it just wants to have fun. It's not, you know, it feels like it has a character. And you know, I feel like a lot of modern cars are missing that. And you know, I was having this debate with one of my friends. Okay, he's not my friend, he's an asshole, but you know, regardless, so he was telling me that it's stupid that, like, I want character in a car. But you know, there's no point really in going fast in, you know, driving really for fun if it doesn't feel fun and if it doesn't feel fast. Like, you know, I really do respect, like, I respect the engineering they've done with modern cars, but I don't like the idea that like, you know, 100 miles an hour feels like 60, 70. There's this, you can feel the speed. It's low to the ground. You know, every time my sister, like, comes with me in this, and she looks over the speedometer, and I'm like, you know, I'm going 80, and she's just like, oh, it feels like you're going 95 or 100. And I'm just like, yeah, it does. And you know what? I like that. That's what I want in a car. And this car does that. It's not refined, it's not comfy. You know, the engine can get coarse, but it's fun, and at the end of the day, that's all. If that's all that matters to you, like that's all that matters to me, I can handle some discomfort. You know, I don't really mind it. Then you know, this is a good choice. I heard they got the gearbox off of a Fiesta, I think. And yeah, so it's not like nice and it's not like nice and smooth and like buttery like a Honda, you know, manual gearbox is. It's a little bit more sometimes it can feel a little bit rough. And but okay, the thing is, the throws are really precise. They're a little bit long compared to other cars I've driven. So this is a drive-by-wire system, and there is a bit of lag. So when, you know, I put my foot down, you know, it takes a you know, like a second to respond, and then it goes. But it is annoying. I've gotten used to it now. But the first time you drive this car, so like I'm coming from cars with mechanical throttle cables, and it is, of course I've driven drive-by-wire cars, but the responsiveness of this system is just, it's honestly pretty poor. Like the throttle response, it's not. I wish they had made it a little bit more snappier. So, you know, because when I want to go, I want to go. You know, I don't want to be sitting there. But you know, it is what it is, and it's just a minor complaint. So on bumpy roads, you're going to feel the bumps because the suspension is very stiff. This is not. It's not like a Cadillac from the 70s where it's all like. No, this is a very stiff suspension, and bumps, you will feel it in this car, and that's just kind of the way it is. I haven't found it unbearable for road trips or anything because these seats are comfortable. I know that doesn't really, you know, absorb the shocks, but you know, it's bearable for me. I know some people who've ridden this car complain like you can feel everything, and it is true, you can feel everything. It's not the most comfortable car. This is an R52. It's a convertible. Wind noise is... oh, damn. Bruh. Thought you were gonna move over. Okay. Wind noise is pretty high. You definitely hear the wind in this car. It is noisy as hell on the freeway. There's not much sound dampening anywhere in this car. So it's loud. I did drive a next gen, so like a second gen mini hard top, and that was a lot quieter than this car. So I don't know if it's because of the convertible top that makes it so loud in here, or if that's just how the car is. Because I haven't driven an R53 or an R50, so I don't know. But just know that the convertible is pretty loud inside. But again, that doesn't matter when, you know, you get it on windy roads like this and you have so much fun. This engine is just, it's a sweetheart. You know, it's very basic, single overhead cam. You know, it's like an old 90s car engine, but it's just so wonderful. And I hate how they went to turbos with the newer cars. And I have driven an R56, Cooper S, and Cooper, and I just, the supercharger fits this car so much better. I don't know what it maybe it's just the torque delivery, maybe it's just me, but it's just, this car is so much nicer with the supercharger. You feel? And just that like raw organic feeling is just, I feel like it's gone down a lot in newer cars. Alright, this is my please. See, that was the traction control right there. Alright. God. okay, so here you guys can get a sense of how the car handles. See, it's very flat through the corners. There's almost no body roll, and that's because of the stiff suspension. Okay, so I will say this about the gearbox again. It's a little bit. So I told you it's not like Honda buttery smooth, and that applies for the shifts also. So like, this car, it's hard to drive smoothly, and I think that's a combination of the power band and, you know, where it kind of. So like once you, it's pretty difficult to immediately get smooth in this car once you start driving it. So, you know, when you like first get into this car, you're getting used to it for like, you know, first couple hours. You're gonna have like, you know, when you shift gears, you're gonna have like some head bobbing movements and like, you know, from your passengers because they're bitches. I really like how the torque does not fall off like a turbo engine. It keeps on pulling till red line. You know, it just pulls all the way till red line. I don't have to short shift. If I short shift, I will probably be, damn, that guy, that RDX is hauling. Sort of. Yeah, and I love the fact that I can rev it up, and it's still gonna keep. It just wants to keep on pulling and pulling and pulling, and just the note is just, it's just, you know, it's just like, yeah, keep on revving me out. Yeah, come on, come on, come on, and it's just so nice, you know, like modern four bangers with their turbos, you know, 2-liter turbos, they fall off after, you know, 5,500 or whatever, and this is just like, nope, I can do it. Come on, keep going, keep going. The brakes in this car, I'll forgive you. You're an old camper bus. It's okay. The brakes in this car are, so they have good feel. They're very progressive. They don't bite that hard. But once you stomp on them, it stops pretty damn quick. All right, so I just want to leave this thought in your guys' minds. You're going to, if you buy this car, people will make fun of you, and you have to, like, you're probably gonna have to accept that. But, you know, you buy cars like this to have fun, not to, okay, maybe some of you might buy them to impress your friends, but you're buying this car, if you buy a car like this, you're buying it for yourself, okay? No one else is gonna appreciate your decision other than me, and hopefully, I mean, no offense, more like educated car people who don't just care about power and, you know, stuff like that. People are gonna make fun of this car. And I told you already, like, people do make fun of me for owning this car. But at the end of the day, those people are not putting a smile on my face, and this thing is. And that's what you gotta remember. And don't play this dick measuring game where you compete on numbers, because it won't work. You're gonna lose every time, even to your, like, mom's MDX, RDX, like I said, BMW X5, I don't know, whatever she drives, you're gonna lose. You're buying this car for yourself, and purely just to have fun and to have character in a car. This is like that weird kid at school who, that weird kid at school who everyone makes fun of, you know? Everyone makes fun of them. Everyone, like, you know, like, you see people hang out with them, you're just like, oh, you know, like, hell no. But they're a really fun person, and they're really chill, and they don't give a shit what you think about them. And this is that car. This car is like that. And if you're okay with that, you're gonna have not have any regrets, other than maybe, like, you know, this car's not very reliable. You're not gonna have regrets with buying this car. And you will have a hell of a lot more fun than you probably expected to. Alright, that's all I got.